Hello, entrepreneurs. My name is Bimal Shah. I'm on a mission to make pioneers out of entrepreneurs by helping you achieve your 3 year goal in 1 year that's tied to your 25-year vision and 5 year moonshot. I do it through weekly sprints and 90-day leaps. This is the Pioneers Academy podcast, and I'm on a mission to make a million pioneers. And I thought this podcast channel will help you achieve your 3 year goal and jump to the next level. I'm going to be showing lots of training and lots of great episodes, so join on this podcast and get all the training and resources you need to achieve your 3 year goal in 1 year and make yourself a pioneer. I wrote 13 books, Becoming a Pioneer, and you can get all those 13 books on Amazon. We're going to give away to every listener who listens on this podcast a $100 Amazon gift card so you can get all the books and learn how to become a pioneer.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Pioneers Academy podcast. I'm April and I've got a question for you. What if your business could actually run without you? Like, really, imagine waking up one morning and things are moving. Clients are being served, sales are happening, all without you being in the weeds every second. Sounds amazing, right? That's what today's topic is all about, building a self managing company. And I couldn't think of a better person to unpack this other than Vimalsha. He's helped countless entrepreneurs not just grow their businesses, but design them so the company practically runs itself. Bimal, I'm so excited to dig into this with you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here. And it's an exciting topic, one of the most essential topics that most businesses ever wonder, will we ever get there? So, this is a great topic to ponder when building a self managing company because it can relieve so much stress. And actually, the journey of building a self managing company can create so many wonders and systems and structures in place that relieves all the stresses and things that issues and challenges that you face on a day-to-day basis. So really excited to talk about this today.
If that's the case, Bimal, let's do this right now and let's start right at the top. When we say a self-managing company, what does that actually mean in practice, and why is it such a big deal for entrepreneurs who want to scale?
Number one, when you say a self-managing company, the concept of it is that it can run without you. In your absence, things can run like a well-oiled machine. And the concept is so important because when you take yourself out of the business, you start thinking about system, structure, processes, people, team, customers, financial profitability, all of those things that you previously may not have paid that much attention to because you are in it and you're looking at it and you're doing it as part of, so you're becoming kind of a slave and a manager of the people. So you're a slave to the business and manager of the people, but you're not actually working on the business. So when you try to take yourself out of that concept, that journey itself transforms the company, and it creates such a high resale value to your business, and actually allows you to exit and think about all the other options that you may not have thought before. So building a self-managing company is an absolute necessity. It's just the thought of it and journey of it can create wonders.
Thank you, Bimal, for giving us a refresher about what is this as having a company that manages itself. So I think a lot of us picture stepping back as scary, personally, but you frame it as a way to actually grow stronger. So thank you for that. Now, what are some of the traits or qualities you've seen in companies that really pulls this off, and how can leaders start to nurture those in their own teams?
Things, when it comes to self-managing company, that concept, that whole thing, it's such a mountain or mindset that people feel like, okay, this involves a lot, I can never get there. So I made it very simple. I built a scorecard. So if you click on the show notes below, it gives you the key characteristics and traits that are required, the foundation that is required, and how you can score on each of those foundations. So break it into three easy components and three core components. One is how you get customers, what happens before, what is your system and structure of getting customers into the door, to buy what you need, what you're selling, the service or products that you sell. So there needs to be a system, a structure, a process, everything in place that has predictable lead generation systems that bring prospects to your door. Okay, so that has predictable traffic, like if you have a store, you bring traffic. If you have a website, you bring traffic. If you have a business, you have prospects and you get people to a workshop, whatever, your business is, you need to have a system to bring customers. The second is how you deliver a dream come true experience like a well-oiled machine, from beginning to end, like clockwork every single time flawlessly. And how much of that is required your time. So if you have to be in it to make sure that the customer gets the dream come true experience, then you're at the bottom end of the whole scale, which requires a lot of improvement. So you need to take yourself out. Say, if I need to take myself out of this, what will need to happen? And the last piece is, how do you multiply? So, if you think about these three things, the key things, the traits are required. You need great people, you need great systems, and you need great customers. So if you have great team members, you have a great product or service to provide to them, and then you have a great team to lead behind, and you have a system to generate all and get the customers to your door, you can predictably build this self-managing company. And at the top of all of this, the most essential is the mindsets. The leadership mindset, the mindset that is required for exponential growth, courageous mindset, abundant thinking, all of those things. When you think big, you grow rich. Napoleon Hill wrote that book. It stands true to its every single chapter, if you, I've read that book over and over again, and if you read it, it still holds true. So it's important for you to have that kind of mindset. You can't grow rich if you can't think big. So you have to think big, because when you think big, you grow big. So, if you want to grow 2x, you have to think 10x. You may not grow 10x in a year, but your thinking needs to be 10x so you can grow 2x in a year. So that is the kind of exponential thinking. Those are kind of the, traits that are required if you want to become and build a self-managing company.
Like that, Bimal, and that's so encouraging. And also, it shows that this isn't just about the system, it's about the DNA of the company and how the people show up every day. Yes, and you're really right about having a mindset that is really important when you run a company or a business. So thank you for highlighting that for us, Bimal. Now, for those founders who still feel like they're wearing 10 different hats, what are some of the practical first steps that help them move towards building a company that can stand on its own?
So the very first step, I would say, click on the link below, which is a self-managing scorecard, bit.ly/, the self-managing scorecard. Score where you stand today. The first important thing which many leaders, many business owners, many entrepreneurs fail to see, they fail to see themselves in the mirror. Whenever I go train, and sometimes, I have to say these harsh words, go in the restroom and look in the mirror, you will see the problem. And the problem is definitely sometimes within themselves, as leaders. And they fail to recognize that, they fail to accept that. And that kind of a closed, narrow-mindedness may not allow the company to grow. So it's very important to assess and self-reflect. And self-reflection is not a bad thing. It's just a reflecting upon you and where you need to improve. There may be some great things in you, and there may be some things that you're not good at, which you may need to delegate, when you need to find ways to build systems, structure, hire the right people, build processes, or completely build a new division, or completely eliminate it and focus on something else. So that kind of self-assessment is the first step, and that scorecard, the link below, allows you to do that. That is the very first practical step. And once you do a self-assessment, then you do a company assessment. Okay, now you've assessed yourself, and that this tool, if you click on the show note below, it allows you to do both. It allows you to do a self-assessment on you, and allows you to do self-assessment on the company, on the sales, on the customers, and finds out the gaps, where those gaps exist, in your company today, to build a self-managing company. And that is the practical first step, because once you look in the mirror, and you see everything, not just yourself, but your team, your company, and everything, you you see a much bigger, broader picture, and it allows you to scale and grow exponentially.
Yeah, and that's encouraging, Bimal, and it makes the transition feel less like a giant leap because of those links that you've mentioned. That is very available on the show notes. So I highly encourage our dear listeners to check on that. Don't miss that out. So now, how do systems and processes like SOPs help create freedom for the founder instead of just adding more rules to the company, Bimal?
SOPs are absolutely critical. They're the foundation of a self-managing company, and in standard operating procedure, it doesn't mean that it's always standard. It also allows you to improve as if you have a written document, because you can't improve what's not documented. Literally, if it's documented, you can improve it, because you can see it, you can see the steps, you can see the process, you can see the tweaks, you can see where you need to change, where you need to improve, and you can, visualize, imagine, and make it happen. But without documented SOPs, you can't build a self-managing company. I've gone into companies where I do training, coaching, consulting, and I've seen that, they just run it like a fly, run it, the day, like everything, just make it happen. Every time you have to be in the middle of the whole thing. Everybody's in the middle. And I've seen from top management, working and wearing the hats of the lowest jobs. So they are not only just working at a C level, but they're also doing the work of a technician. And how can you run a company like that? That's not feasible. So it's very, very essential that you have these systems, processes, structure, because when these are in place, things can happen. You can measure, you can improve. And then you also know the team also has the freedom and clarity. One of the most important things is, if your team lacks clarity, then your company cannot progress. If you want to build a self-managing company, your team needs to have complete clarity on the results that they have to deliver every single day. Every single individual in your team needs to know clearly what they need to make happen and bring to the company by the end of the day, by the end of the week, by the end of the quarter, by the end of the month, by the end of the year. If this clarity exists, you have a great self-managing company, because that's essentially, everybody knows what they need to do. That is the core of a self-managing company.
Love that perspective, Bimal. Thank you for sharing that with us today. And I also believe that systems aren't about control. They're really about giving the business room to breathe and scale, including the people within it. So thank you for that. So now, Bimal, when it comes to scaling, how much does having the right team in place matter? Let's just highlight this again for keeping that self-managing structure alive.
So if there is a four-letter word for being successful in business, it's HIRE, hire. If you know how to hire the right people, you can make it happen. So, and hiring the right people, getting the right, and this is what I say, if you want a self-managing company, this one sentence has all the magic in it. You have to have the right people in the right seats, do the right things to get the right results, to get the right pay. So everything, they have to have the right people in the right seats, do the right things, SOPs, process, results, work, tasks, activities, results. They have to deliver results, make it happen. Because if whatever they're working doesn't generate a result, maybe whatever they're working on is not worth working on. So it needs to generate a result by a definite timeline, whichever timeline you set, and that result has equal to the pay that you're paying to the team. So if they're working and there is a pay associated with it. Does that pay generate a certain result to the company, multiple of what you pay? Then absolutely. And you can quantify. Some people say some pays are not quantifiable because they just maintain the aura or the image or anything. Everything is quantifiable. Everything is measurable. You just need to build or find a system that can make it quantifiable. And so that is the essence of building a self-managing company, and absolutely hiring plays the most critical and most important role in the same.
Such a good reminder, Bimal, for our entrepreneurs listening today, that the people you bring on don't just fill roles. They're the ones who carry the vision forward. So thank you for reminding each one of us. And now, some entrepreneurs push for rapid growth, like achieving a 3-year plan in just 1 year. How can they make sure their company's self-management doesn't fall behind that speed?
So when you're trying to grow by speed, and speed is essential, you don't want to have growing pains or things fall apart in that speed where shortcut on the deliverables. Because one thing that can completely bring down, your scalability is your customers not happy with what you're delivering. So you at one end, you're scaling the company, you're trying to improve the sales, and the other end, you're falling on your deliverables, on your quality, on your service, on your satisfaction, and you're not building raving fans. So raving fans are at the foundation. Your customers need to be raving fans. Your customers need to have faith and trust, and make sure that you can carry this forward even when you're scaling. So the best way to do is the four leap system, the structure that I built. The structure that I built is, you have four 90-day leaps. You have the first leap, which is the foundational leap, which takes into account everything. Like, for example, if you have crack in your ceiling, or there's a leak in your ceiling and water, and you can't see where the water is seeping through and how it's coming, so you need to break apart the ceiling. You need to call an expert. The expert needs to open the ceiling and see where the water is leaking and find the damage and what it's coming through. Similarly, there are cracks in our business, there are gaps in our business that we can't see with the naked eye, and you need an expert, or you need an outside eye to come and look at it. That's why it is essential to open your mind to look, having an expert look at, like me, come in and evaluate where the gaps are, where the cracks are, and we build in. So the structure, the foundational structure, is what holds everything together, and we identify where we're missing on the foundational structure. That is the first piece, and that is essential. So that is the key, in identifying as the first step. And once we do that, you know you can have rapid growth become easy, because now you have a foundation. From the foundation, you build a team. From the team, you build the scalability. So, and from the foundation also exists in a predictable system of bringing in customers. You can't run a business without customers, right? You need customers. If there is a thing that, if you want, the number one job of an entrepreneur, leader of companies, make sure you get cash flow coming in on a regular basis. Customers pay you, so your job is to make sure that well-oiled machine keeps coming. Customers keep coming, and so that is absolutely essential. Those are the key things, when you're looking at rapid scalability and achieving your 3-year goal in 1 year. And I've written 13 books that give you so many tools, so many systems, so many structures that can help you build this rapid scalability. And my whole business is founded on taking your 3-year goal in 1 year.
Yes, you're right, Bimal. And that makes a total sense because fast growth is exciting, but it's only sustainable if the foundation is solid and if there is an expert who really knows what to do and how to guide each entrepreneur. So thank you for that. And now, yes, you've mentioned that you have written a lot of books and you have tools also, Bimal. So I would like to ask which ones really dive into this topic among all your books?
So, the book is written as a series. So it's a step-by-step scalability system and helping entrepreneurs guide, achieving their 3-year goal in 1 year. So you start from the vision, you build your vision, you achieve your blueprint, your 90 days. So books 1 through 6, build the foundation of 90-day leaps. So if you are not familiar, and you haven't had that structure, and you need that foundational structure, those books 1 through 6. Now, if you have built the foundation and you have the structure and foundation, and you need scalability and you need growth and you need to come up with other books, 7 through 11, would allow you to do that. So that will help you build the team, the scalability, the accountability, the processes, the SOP, the sales, the marketing, all of those things, so that you can scale the company and see, get the cash flow coming in. So that is in books number 12 and 3 is exponential, warp speed type of, thinking really fast, because you have the basic foundation and the structure and the people and sales happening. So now it's time for you to scale and go rapidly. So that is the flow of the whole Becoming a Pioneer series. I believe the only way the business can sustain itself, grow itself, and keep on growing itself, if you're a pioneer. And pioneer means that you're the only one in the entire industry that can grow, and that can do what you're doing. So if you're the only one that can provide what you're providing and there's a demand for it, you have sustainability. So you get on something where you have positioned yourself, you grab that position in the whole where you're the only one that occupies it and nobody else can. And now there's no longer a competition based on price. So you're evaluated by what you deliver, and there's a demand, people like it, people want it, and you occupy that and like a monopoly. So that's what, becoming a pioneer. And once you have that, the business is sustainable. It's a matter of maintaining that and growing that as you grow it.
Give him also, we've heard that you're giving $100 Amazon gift card uh, tied to your books that you can share with us today, right?
Absolutely. So if you click on the show notes below, for every listener that comes on this podcast, or you listen on this podcast or YouTube, wherever you listen to this, please click on the show notes below. I'm giving away $100 Amazon gift card. So that $100 Amazon gift card allows you to get all my books for free at no cost to you. So that is a big giveaway. You can get the entire book series, tons of tools, resources, and we also give grants and other things. So if you qualify, if you click scan the QR code or click on the show notes below. So the show note below has the $100 Amazon gift card. And there are other tools, the Sale Ready Scorecard, the Quantum 90-Day Leap, which is the foundational structure for building a 90-day leap. Click on all those tools and resources. There's no cost to it. They are yours to use, and it will help you, guide you, direct you in building something amazing, wonderful, something that you have never thought of before, and you can see it right in front of you.
That's such a generous way to encourage learning and starting, build their own company that is self-managing, Bimal. It really shows your commitment to helping entrepreneurs take action. So once again, Bimal, thank you for this conversation, for this episode. I feel like you've pulled back the curtain on what it really takes to build a self-managing company. And for everyone listening, I hope you're living today with not just ideas, but real steps you can take to start moving towards freedom and scalability in your business. Right, Bimal?
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Love it. Thank you very much, April. Looking forward to our next episode and become a pioneer, build a self-managing company. Hello, pioneers and entrepreneurs. My name is Bimal Shah. I'm on a mission to make pioneers out of entrepreneurs by helping you achieve your 3-year goal in 1 year that is tied to your 25-year vision and 5-year moonshot. I do it through 90-day leaps and weekly sprints and through my own proprietary 4-leap system. I've also written 13 books, the Becoming a Pioneer series. I've founded the Pioneers Academy, the Pioneers platform, and several resources that help you on several different platforms: the Thrive platform, Transform platform, and Transcend platform. So these are resources and tools that I built for you to double your business in a year and scale exponentially and become the only one in your business.